Representative Steve Gunderson out of Libby now on the phone lines with us here. Representative Gunderson, thanks for calling in this morning.
Oh, thank you, Aaron, for having me on.
Well, it's good to hear from you. I know. You had Legislative Week here recently in the state capitol in Helena, but I know one of the topics you wanted to raise at the Capitol was, the questions and the concerns surrounding this latest deal, Weyerhauser selling all their property here in Montana. And we're talking thousands and thousands of acres. What's going to happen with the timber jobs? What's going to happen with public access on the former Plum Creek lands, the former Weyerhauser lands with this new owner? What did you hear? What can you tell us about what you heard and some of the questions you were asking at the Capitol?
Well, Aaron, it's really the hearing part. There's only crickets. Nobody's talking. What we do know, and that was what I was actually doing at the EQC meeting that was held the 15th and 16th, was giving a briefing to the EQC on what we know. That part of the presentation was pretty short because we don't know a lot. That's 630,000 acres, and it's private industrial timberland. And we keep having to go back and saying this is private property, but it's not. It's intertwined through decades of use and agreements to Lincoln, Flathead, Sanders Lake, Missoula, and Mineral counties. And when you look at this very, very closely, this isn't like selling the little blue house on the corner. Again, this is over 500,000 acres of prime timberland.
And I know the concern. I know the concern from a lot of folks, and Dave Skinner's done some great write-ups for the Flathead Beacon, as he's always done over the years, covering this issue. The concern is that basically, you have a company that moves in that calls themselves a timber company, but really they're a real estate company, and they're just going to turn all this 630,000 acres into the playground of the rich, and Montanans are going to lose access and opportunity. Well,
there's the rub, Aaron, is if when this sale is being so closed-mouthed and non-disclosure agreements being signed as it's made, so there's no input coming from anybody, including legislators like myself or county commissioners, the actual people that are going to have to deal with the many, many, many ramifications of this sale. And we're hoping that Southern Pines Plantations realizes what they're buying, or the next step is actually the future purchasers or ultimate purchasers, because that's what Southern Pines is known for, is to actually buy property and flip it. If they don't plan to keep those lands, we need to know who the next purchaser or purchasers, plural. If they're not going to keep the lands, they've already stated that management and access will continue on. Well, looking into that, they actually purchased some ground down in southern Idaho, about 170,000 acres, made the same claim. That's not what happened. So historically, we don't believe them.
So the bottom line is, if you were concerned before, you're still concerned, maybe even a little bit more concerned now, given the lack of details, but that are especially coming out on this Weyerhauser deal.
Oh, definitely. What we know is very little. What we don't know and what we need to know is huge. Cost share agreements on roads that provide important recreational access, management access, for other ownerships, and that's both public and private. What's their best management practice for watersheds and firefighting access? We need to know about habitat conservation agreements, and these are going to concern all the species of interest: grizzly bear, bull trout, Canadian lynx. And what's this sale going to have? What impacts is this sale going to have on on a cumulative effects analysis for proposed projects on public lands within these landscapes that hold a huge interspersed and changing ownership.
John in Kyla, did you have a question or comment?
Yeah, good morning.
Morning.
I just want to relate something that took place while I was hunting back there in Weyerhauser property. I came across two guys that worked for Weyerhauser at the gate as I was coming out, and we did some small talk and whatnot, and they alluded to the fact that the Weyerhauser property was going to be sold. And I told them, well, I've been hunting back here for 10 years, and it's going to be a shame if I can't hunt back here anymore. And they mentioned the man's name. And they said, surely he'll let you hunt back here once he buys his property. So, it kind of makes me wonder about where this property's going.
Interesting. All right. Well, hey, thanks for sharing that story. Thanks for your call, John. Representative Steve Gunderson, yeah, I know we've only got, a couple minutes left here in this hour of the show, but give us your take on that call or more thoughts on the Weyerhauser deal, plus a quick update also on chronic wasting disease, which, has been a big topic of late in Northwest Montana also.
What I could say to John is give me a call, 334-4370. I'd kind of like to chat with you for a few minutes after the show because that's more information than we've gotten since the Weyerhauser sale was broken. And I think what you're going to find is that because of all of the cost share agreements, the historical public access, there's no way that this is going to be chopped up into residential blocks and just closed up, because those roads that exist through that area help us in firefighting management. Just a myriad of uses. So that's something that we need to find out.
And give your phone number again real quick in case he wasn't able to copy it down there right off the bat.
Sure. It's 334-4370.
All right. And then we got about a minute to go. Chronic wasting disease. What's the latest, Northwest Montana?
Chronic wasting disease, actually, it's a sad story. 61 white-tailed deer, 1 muley, 0 elk, but we have 2 moose that have tested positive. So that's kind of the numbers. The majority of the positives, confirmed positives, have been around the urban area around Libby, which is what we suspected. The 2 moose are the ones that are kind of oddballs that we're still kind of scratching our heads on. But we'll just have to look at that and see what happens.
Yeah, that's interesting. So it sounds like Libby is kind of ground zero on that, because when this first became a big topic here of late, it was the first time that CWD, chronic wasting disease, had crossed that side of the Continental Divide. So it sounds like it's certainly spread since that time, or at least they're doing a better job of detecting it now as the focus grows on it. Steve Gunderson, thanks so much for what you do. Thanks for keeping us posted and updated. Look forward to chatting with you more down the road.
Thank you, sir. And